Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video and happy Summerween. If you know anything about me, then you know I love horror movies and I love horror books. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite horror and thriller books. Just a quick disclaimer, a lot of these books talk about very, very heavy topics. So please, before you think about purchasing or reading any of them, look up trigger warnings. But if you're a fan of horror and thriller books, then let's get started. First up, I have Mary. I read this book this year and I still think about this book so much. This explores the horrors of aging, womanhood, and also mental illness. As a middle-aged woman is haunted by disturbing visions and a gruesome past that just refuses to stay buried. This was such a fun read all the way through until the end. I just want to note a quick thing on the back. It says that this book blends Midsommar with elements of American Psycho and a pinch of All Be Gone in the Dark. And if you know me, then you know I love Midsommar. That's like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And I would absolutely say if you love that movie, definitely check this out. They're different in terms of the actual story, but the themes that are explored are definitely similar. I love this book. I love this book. This is such a fun book. Next up, we have a classic, The Exorcist. If you are a horror lover and you haven't checked out this book, I would highly recommend. This book is famous for a reason. It launched the whole horror genre. It's an unsettling portrayal of a demonic possession, and it challenges science and faith. I will say though, I was very surprised that the book is a lot more graphic than the movie, so just take a note on that. Next up, we have The House Across the Lake, and if you've seen my previous videos, then you know that I do recommend this one for the summertime. It's a Hitchcock-inspired book about this troubled woman who is spying on her neighbors across the lake. And let's just say she uncovers more than what she bargained for. If you liked The Woman in the Window or the movie Rear Window, definitely check this one out. I also recommend A Woman in the Window if you haven't read that one yet. Also talking about Riley, I have to mention The Only One Left. This is a gothic thriller about this caretaker who is taking care of this elderly woman who is notorious for her family's murder. That within itself sounds like quite a lot of drama and secrets. She uncovers a lot of mysteries while living in this mansion. Next up, we have The Winter People. This book was such a surprise for me. I loved this book so much. It's a dual timeline ghost story set in rural Vermont. The big theme in this one is what is the cost of bringing people back from the dead? I thought this story was super unique. I really enjoyed reading the diaries in this book and then also reading the present day characters. It also explores grief and motherhood, and there's a hint of folklore. Next up, we have The Sanatorium, and if you like The Shining, this is definitely one to pick up next. This is set in the Swiss Alps in a hotel that, of course, used to be a sanatorium. It's a claustrophobic, snowbound mystery. Let's just say that some of these secrets and random disappearances won't stay hidden for long. This was such an enjoyable read. It has you guessing the whole way through. Next up, of course, I have to mention Frida McFadden, specifically The Housemaid. I'm sure everyone has read this, but if you haven't yet, it's definitely one to check out. They're actually making a movie about it. It's an addictive thriller about this young woman who takes a job working for this wealthy family. And of course, not only does the house, but the family has secrets for her to uncover. Never Lie, also by Frida McFadden, is another favorite of mine. This is a psychological thriller about a couple touring a home during a snowstorm and uncovers eerie recordings and some dark secrets from the home's past owner, a missing psychiatrist. Both of these books are so bingeable, definitely like a 1 to 2 day read. Next up, I have another classic, Psycho. This is a psychological thriller that really launched the horror genre. We dive deep into the mind of Norman Bates, and we learn that sometimes the scariest monsters are often the most human. If you've watched the movie, would definitely recommend reading the book. Again, this is a classic for a reason. Now, the next book I'm gonna recommend with a grain of salt. This book talks about a lot of really crazy topics. We have Tender as the Flesh. Now, this is a dystopian novel where cannibalism is not only legalized, but industrialized. Definitely check out trigger warnings for this book. This really forces you to think about the ethics not only of consumerism, exploitation, but also dehumanization. This book was equally thought-provoking and also terrifying. Now, would this be a horror recommendation video if I did not mention the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen King? Specifically, The Institute by him. This is about a bunch of kidnapped children who have supernatural powers, and they fight against this sinister facility that is not only trying to exploit them for their powers, but also their humanity. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, oh my gosh, is this one to pick up next. While I'm talking about Stephen, I have to also mention Carrie. Again, what a classic book. This is about a bullied teen who has telekinesis, and the emotional torment builds into the the most explosive climaxes in all of horror literature. Again, this is a classic for a reason. Next up we have I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and this was a wild ride. They actually made this into a movie, and oh my gosh, is the book so different, specifically the ending, than the movie. Way more graphic and violent. But this is a psychological thriller that starts with a road trip and just descends into this absolute nightmare. I went into this one blind, and I would recommend you do the same. Just go along for the ride and see where this book takes you. Next up is Sharp Objects. If you're a fan of Gone Girl, this is a darker and more twisted version. It's a psychological thriller about this journalist who goes back to her hometown to cover a murder case. She has to confront her own past, her toxic family secrets, and also her buried trauma. Definitely look up trigger warnings for this book. And last but not least, we have Bunny. This is a surreal story that descends into madness at an MFA program. It's where toxic female friendships, identity, and creativity collide into a grotesque, glittering fever dream. I actually read this book while I was studying my MFA, and not that I related to these characters. It just was super fun to kind of be in this world with them. This is quite a popular one for a reason. If you haven't read this one, definitely check it out. It perfectly combines horror and satire together. Well, those are the recommendations I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you've made it this far into the video, please comment below your favorite horror thriller novel that I should check out next. Happy Summerween, and until then, I'll see you all for a new video. Bye, guys.